Welcome, everyone. Today, we're doing a deep dive into some, well, truly legendary source material.
We're cracking open excerpts from Eugene Schwartz's Breakthrough Advertising.
A book with a bit of a mythic status, right?
Yeah.
Famously hard to get for ages.
Oh, yeah. Copies were selling for, almost $1,000 used?
Mm-hmm.
Before it finally got reissued, it's seen as this direct marketing Bible.
But what's fascinating and what the intro really highlights is that its impact went way beyond just copywriters.
Definitely. Publishers, financiers, manufacturers,
Yeah.
people apparently made fortunes using these ideas.
Which suggests it's about more than just, writing catchy sentences. It's tapping into something much bigger. Opening markets, maybe?
Yeah.
Intensifying desire?
Exactly. And Schwartz lays out this core idea right at the start. It's almost counterintuitive.
How so?
He compares writing breakthrough copy, get this, to playing the stock market, or being an atomic physicist.
Okay. Stockmarket.physics.advertising. How do those connect?
It's about harnessing immense natural forces. That's the link.
Natural forces.
Yeah. For advertising, he says these forces are the huge, already existing human hopes, fears, dreams, desires. All that stuff churning inside millions of people right now.
So the key point is they already exist.
Precisely. The copywriter doesn't create them. He uses the example, you can't create the desire for millions of women to want to lose weight. It's already there.
Yeah.
Massively there.
So the job isn't invention. It's detection.
Detection, yeah.
Yeah.
And then inventorying it, charting its direction, its force, and then figuring out how to channel that existing energy onto your specific product or idea.
Like redirecting a river, not digging the riverbed from scratch.
That's a great way to put it. And because these desires and the world around them are always shifting, always new.
Old formulas won't cut it.
Exactly. Rigid rules are useless for true breakthroughs. He argues the real technique is analysis.
Analysis, meaning
Asking the right questions, letting the unique problem show you the unique solution instead of just slapping some template on it.
got it. So our mission here is to unpack these core ideas, the forces, the connection points, the techniques, and see if we can find those aha moments Schwartz talks about.
Sounds like a plan. Where do we start with those underlying forces?
Yeah, let's start there. What does he call it? Mass desire.
Mass desire. Simple term, huge concept. He defines it as just the public spread of a private want.
A private want that becomes public. Shared.
Yeah, think about the desire for organic food now, or maybe decades ago, the urge for people to own fancy new appliances. These aren't small things. They're deep currents running through society.
And the absolutely crucial point he makes, you mentioned it already, is you cannot create it.
Cannot create it. And you cannot fight it. It takes years, even decades to form, driven by big social, economic, technological changes, things way outside advertising's control.
So your job is detective and engineer again.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Detect the desire, measure it, understand where it's going, then build the channel, the ad, the message to direct it to your product.
He breaks these forces down, right, to help identify them.
Yep. Two main categories. First, the permanent forces.
The evergreen stuff.
Exactly. Basic human instincts, desire for health, attractiveness, security, comfort, never goes away. Also includes ongoing mass technological problems, like bad Wi-Fi signals today, or slow-acting pain relief back then.
And the challenge there is?
Standing out. When everyone's tapping into the same basic desire, like be healthy, you need a fresh angle, a more believable claim.
Okay, so permanent forces and the second category.
Courses of change. These are the trends, the shifts in taste, lifestyle. Think big cars to compacts, or maybe today, the move towards sustainable products.
Things in motion.
Right. And this also includes mass education, things like celebrity influence, peer pressure, even the cumulative effect of all advertising raising expectations for, say, faster service or better results.
And the challenge with these forces.
Timing. It's all about timing, catching that wave as it's rising, spotting the emerging desire or frustration early, and hitting the right note just when people are ready to hear it.
So step one, identify that single overwhelming desire that millions feel right now and that connects to what you're offering.
That's the bedrock. And once you have that desire pinpointed,
But the headline becomes everything.
it's the bridge
Yeah.
that absolutely has to grab them by acknowledging that desire or offering a way to satisfy it. Right up front. One statement.
And how you build that bridge depends completely on the reader's starting point, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Their level of understanding.
Exactly. This is maybe one of the most crucial parts. There's the prospect's state of awareness. You just can't talk to everyone the same way.
He outlines 5 states. Let's walk through them. How would a headline change for each?
Okay. Top level, most aware. This person knows your product, they want it, they know the price, they're basically sold.
So the headline can be simple.
Super simple. Maybe just the product name, or sale on product X, the heavy lifting's done.
Right. What about the next level down? They know the product exists, but they're not quite there yet.
That's product aware. They know of it, but maybe they don't intensely desire it, or they don't think it's the best option.
So, the headline.
Starts with the product, sure, but immediately has to connect it back to the core desire it fulfills.
Yeah.
Remind them why they should care. Make that link strong.
Okay. Now, what if they know the result they want, the solution they crave, but have zero idea your product delivers it?
That's solution aware. They're focused on the outcome, like being more popular or having an easier life.
The headline has to lead with that outcome then.
Yes. Lead with the solution, the desired end state. Then introduce your product as the mechanism to get there. The classic example he gives is Dale Carnegie. How to Win Friends and Influence People. Leads with the desire. The book is the how.
Got it. And deeper still, they know they have a problem, a pain point, but they don't know a solution even exists.
That's problem aware. They're just living with the frustration, the worry. Maybe they think it's just how things are. So the headline needs to name the pain.
Exactly. Start by stating that problem clearly, validating their experience. Do you make these mistakes in English? It taps right into that insecurity people might feel but not talk about. The aha is just naming it for them.
And the final level, the deepest.
Completely unaware. They aren't consciously thinking about the problem or the underlying desire or any potential solution. This is the toughest audience.
So the headline here has to be really indirect.
Totally indirect. Can't mention the product, the price, maybe not even the specific desire in plain words. You have to connect on a deeper level.
How?
Schwartz lists ways. Give words to a hidden dream. Exploit a hidden fear. Use a powerful, universally understood image. Project a desire they might not admit even to themselves. Tap into a common resentment. Or show some ultimate triumph they can identify with.
Like you mentioned the Marlboro ads, the tattoo, the cowboy, projecting virility without saying a word, tapping a hidden desire for ruggedness.
Perfect example. Or that TV repair book ad. Why haven't TV owners been told these facts? That taps resentment, the feeling of being ripped off. It's not about resistors and tubes initially, it's about that feeling.
And the piano ad, showing the beginner becoming the star performer, projecting that hidden dream of mastery.
Right, or even the old Listerine ad, often a bridesmaid but never a bride. It projects the consequence of the problem bad breath in a socially understood, relatable way without being accusatory.
It's amazing how these strategies, even from decades ago, the underlying psychology feels completely relevant. The styles change, the media changes, but meeting people where they are.
That's timeless. Adapting the expression is key, but the strategy of diagnosing that awareness level, still gold.
And he connects this to the idea of market sophistication, right? As markets get crowded, awareness shifts, and headlines have to evolve too.
Yeah, he talks about 5 stages of market sophistication. A new market might start with a very simple claim, tastes great. Then competitors come in, claims get elaborated. Then it shifts to the mechanism, now with filter X.
Then pushing the mechanism, then finally.
Often shifting to pure identification, like the Marlboro Man. When taste and filters become table stakes, the image, the identity becomes the differentiator.
So really understanding the prospect means knowing their desire, their awareness level, and how sophisticated they are about that particular market.
It's the essential groundwork. You find the desire, you connect based on awareness, and then you have to turn up the heat.
Which brings us to the first big technique, intensification.
Right. You've tapped into the desire. Now you need to strengthen it, make it more vivid, more urgent, specifically in relation to your product. Keep showing them that satisfying outcome, but always tied to what you're offering.
How do you do that? Make the desire stronger.
Well, Schwartz gives a bunch of ways. You can just state your claims directly, bluntly, but paint a really detailed picture, like that rose ad promising thousands of blooms from one bush. The detail makes it intense.
Or show it in action.
Yeah. The model jet actually flying, the self-propelled fishing lure doing its thing. Seeing is believing, and it intensifies the desire to experience it.
Putting the reader in the picture seems powerful too.
Definitely. Showing them doing it, like the spark plug ad saying you test them yourself, makes it immediate, personal.
You can also stretch the benefits out over time.
Yes. Weight loss that lasts for years, not just weeks. That adds a layer of security and desirability. Or compare and contrast dramatically. Show the bad old way versus your good new way. Really highlight the contrast, like those spark plug ads showing the fouled plug next to the clean one.
Making it seem easy helps too, right? Removes a barrier.
Huge, like that oil additive ad. 30 seconds of work for big engine benefits. Low effort, high reward. Very intense appeal.
Using metaphors, analogies.
Yeah, making complex things simple and appealing. Calling an English course a 100% self-correcting device makes it sound smart, almost automatic.
Just
Yeah.
listing the benefits sometimes.
Sure, summarizing everything they get, like a catalog of satisfaction, or using a strong guarantee that intensifies the feeling of security and removes risk.
And for longer campaigns, national advertising.
Yeah.
You can't just keep hitting the same note.
No, you need continuity, but also novelty. Vary the image of satisfaction slightly in each ad. Think Clairol hair color showing different women enjoying their look, or Cadillac finding new ways to signal quality. It reinforces the core desire while keeping it fresh.
This often means the headline might not even mention the product, right? A creative gamble.
Exactly. You hook them with the desire, maybe intensify, draw them into the copy, and bet that the story you tell there will be compelling enough to sell the product.
So intensification is all about making that existing desire burn brighter and pointing it squarely at your product.
Precisely. Now, the second technique builds on this, identification.
Identification,
Right.
like identifying with something.
Exactly. Tapping into the powerful human need to act out certain roles. Character roles may be the savvy investor, the rugged outdoorsman, the elegant hostess, or achievement roles, the successful executive, the devoted parent.
So the product isn't just functional, it's helping you become someone.
Yes, you position your product as an instrument to help people achieve those roles, or as an acknowledgement that they've already arrived. For a lot of things, especially status items like fancy cars or watches, Schwartz says this role-giving power is way more important than the basic function.
It's about the statement it makes about you.
Totally. So how do you build that into a product? First, figure out its primary image in people's minds. Let's stick with cigarettes for a sec, maybe seen as a man's product back then.
Okay, so you identify that image.
Yeah.
Then what?
You either intensify it, make it stronger, more appealing, like Marlboro did, taking the man's product idea and amping up the virility with cowboys' tattoos, making it hypermasculine.
Or, if the image isn't great, or just kind of neutral.
Then you subordinate it. You acknowledge it, but use it as a bridge to something more desirable. The Chesterfield Blow Some My Way ad is the classic case.
How did that work again?
It acknowledged the man smoking the existing masculine image, but the plea, blow some my way, instantly shifted the focus to romance, female desire, even a kind of modern liberation for women at the time. It used the accepted reality as a launchpad to a more aspirational, broader role involving women.
That's clever. But there have to be limits, right? Believability must come into play.
Absolutely critical. You cannot contradict what people fundamentally believe about a product or the kind of person who uses it. He gives an example of trying to sell, say, a basic mass-market deodorant soap using super elite luxury imagery. It just wouldn't work.
People wouldn't buy it.
They wouldn't identify it. Clashes with their reality of the product and maybe even themselves. The image has to be aspirational, yes, but also plausible for the target audience to step into. Can they realistically see themselves in that role using that product?
So identification needs that foundation of believability, which leads nicely into the next technique.
Belief building, number 3.
Right. How do you get people to actually believe the claims, especially the big ones?
Well, Schwartz points out people need to believe things. They crave secure beliefs. Advertising doesn't usually succeed by arguing against deeply held beliefs. Instead, it works with them, exploits their tendencies.
And the main technique for this is?
Gradualization. This is fundamental, he says. It works through the structure, the architecture of the ad itself.
Gradualization, like leading them gradually to the conclusion.
Exactly that. You often can't just slam your biggest, most powerful claim into the headline. Why? Because the prospect simply isn't ready to believe it yet. It's too big a leap.
So you have to prepare them, build up to it.
Yes. Layer by layer. You get agreement on smaller points first. Build common ground. Establish credibility. Then, when their mind is prepared, you deliver the main claim or the product offer.
So it's the sequence that builds belief, not just the assertion itself.
That's the core insight. Structure is persuasion here. That TV repair ad is the perfect illustration. It didn't start with, you can fix your own TV. No one would believe that out of the gate.
Right. It started with things they already knew, jumpy pictures, ghost images.
Yes. Get them nodding along. I have that problem. Then, introduce a logical point they can accept. You pay a repairman for his knowledge. If you had the knowledge. Makes sense.
Logical, yeah.
Only after confirming the problem and establishing that logical premise does it gently introduce the idea that maybe you can get that knowledge, that many problems are minor adjustments, what TV experts have learned. It delays the part they might resist doing it themselves until the groundwork of belief is laid.
By the time the fix-it-yourself idea comes, it feels much more plausible because you've already agreed with the steps leading up to it.
Precisely. Gradualization is about delaying the goal until the prospect is mentally ready to accept it, achieved through the careful construction of the message.
Wow. Belief built through architecture. Powerful stuff. What's technique number 4?
Redefinition. This is another really clever one. It's about eliminating drawbacks or perceived negatives by changing how the prospect thinks about them, changing their perspective.
So not necessarily changing the product, but changing how it's seen.
Exactly. It's particularly good for 3 common hurdles. The product seems too complicated, or not important enough, or just too expensive. Redefinition tackles the perception.
You mentioned mental judo earlier.
Yeah, that's one type. Concept judo, turning a liability into an asset. The classic is Life Buoy soap. It had this strong medicinal smell, a clear negative for soap.
Right. People want nice smells.
But the BO campaign redefined that smell as proof it was working. The medicinal odor meant it was powerfully destroying body odor. The weakness became the evidence for the core benefit, a total flip.
That's brilliant. Okay, what about making complex things seem simple?
That's redefining difficulty. The TV repair ad did this too, framing potential fixes as minor adjustments anyone could learn, contrasting them with scary major breakdowns, makes it feel manageable. Or the Sherwin-Cody English course redefined mastering grammar, which sounds hard, as just learning a dozen key principles, much less intimidating, makes new or difficult things feel approachable.
And the third type, importance or price.
Escalation or de-escalation. Escalation makes a product seem more important. That English course wasn't just about grammar, it was reframed as gaining word power, the key to influence and success. Suddenly, it's much more valuable.
And de-escalation makes something sound cheaper.
Even if the price is high, yeah. That spark plug ad is great here. It talked about intricate craftsmanship, practically made by hand, said they could sell for $5 each, setting a high value expectation. Then, revealing the price as only $1.49 each makes it feel like a steal, even though $1.49 might have been pricey for a spark plug then.
It's all about framing the value before revealing the cost.
Exactly. It's fascinating, isn't it? Both gradualization and redefinition work, sort of, under the radar. One uses structure, the other uses perspective shifts to build acceptance and overcome mental barriers.
Okay, that's 4 down. What are the last 3 techniques?
Number 5 is sensitivity.
Sensitivity, like being empathetic.
In a way, yes. It's about playing a dual role while writing. You're the copywriter, but you also have to constantly put yourself in the prospect's shoes as they read. You need to anticipate their silent questions.
What kind of questions?
The inevitable ones. Okay, tell me more. They need more detail, more desire building. Oh yeah, prove it. Who says so? They need proof, authority. And crucially, how does this thing actually work? They need the mechanism explained.
So sensitivity means building the answers into the copy right when the reader is likely to ask a question in their head.
Precisely. You have to sense that point of rising skepticism or need for clarification and address it proactively. Explaining the mechanism how it works is often vital. It's not just text specs, it's proof the claim is real. Sometimes the mechanism itself is the big news. And it's key for justifying price too, explaining why it delivers value, like Robert Collier explaining the special deal that allowed his low fabric price.
Makes sense. You anticipate and answer objections before they fully form. Okay, number 6.
Concentration. This one's more aggressive. It's about destroying the other ways the prospect might satisfy the desire you've tapped into.
Attacking the competition. Or the old way of doing things.
Yes, but, and this is critical, you only attack a weakness if your product provides the direct solution to that specific weakness. You can't just bash competitors randomly.
So, point out a flaw, then immediately show how you fix it.
Exactly. You highlight the downsides, the penalties of the alternatives. Maybe use intensification to paint a picture of the negative consequences. Then use gradualization, logical cause, and cure, and mechanism showing how your product eliminates that specific pain point to prove your solution is superior.
Like the spark plug ad showing bad plug, could plug. Or weight loss ads contrasting passive, ineffective plans with their active, successful ones.
Those are perfect examples. You concentrate the reader's attention on the flaws elsewhere and position your product as the focused, clear solution.
Got it. And the final technique, Number 7.
Camouflage. This is about borrowing conviction, leveraging sources of belief that already exist out there in society.
Borrowing belief. How does that work?
Several ways. One is format. Making your ad visually resemble the editorial content it appears in. Schwartz uses a Wall Street Journal example where the ad mimicked the paper's look and feel.
Ah, so it blends in, piggybacking on the publication's credibility.
Exactly. People trust the journal or whatever publication, so the ad feels less like an interruption and more like trusted information. Another way is phraseology adopting the writing style, the idiom, of trusted sources, like a straightforward, factual newspaper style.
And there was another angle, escaping the hard sell.
Yes. Using communication styles people trust because they don't sound like typical ads. Understatement is one. Think Volkswagen's classic campaigns, simple, honest, no hype. That quiet confidence built enormous trust.
The opposite of shouting.
Right. And the other is utter frankness, using blunt, direct, non-advertising language, maybe even a little abrasive. That ad asking, "Are you one of the 200 men?" wasn't trying to be slick. Its raw directness felt authentic and commanded attention. These styles work because they bypass our built-in ad filters.
So the 7 techniques: intensification, identification, gradualization, redefinition, sensitivity, concentration, and camouflage. That's quite a framework.
It really is. And Schwartz adds a few final touches, things that amplify these techniques.
Like boosters, what are they?
Well, verification, just consistently providing proof and authorities. Reinforcement, making two claims stronger by putting them together, like Avis, we're only second, which made "we try harder" incredibly believable. The combination was powerful.
The weakness amplified the strength claim.
Clever.
Exactly. Then interweaving, skillfully blending emotion, logic, imagery within sentences and paragraphs, making each part do multiple jobs, getting maximum impact from every word.
Super efficient.
Yeah. Sensitivity comes up again, making sure you meet the reader's needs throughout the entire ad. Momentum, using language, rhythm, transitions, and that's not all. To pull the reader along, keep them engaged sentence after sentence.
Don't let them get bored or drift off.
And mood. Consciously creating a specific feeling, excitement, urgency, sincerity, drama through word choice, sentence structure. Think pounding, short sentences versus calm, flowing prose, different means for different goals.
It feels like learning these techniques is step one, but the real goal is internalizing them, right? So they become second nature, part of your intuition. Creativity, #1, moving to creativity, #2, as he puts it. That's the journey to mastery, absolutely. These aren't just things to know about, they're things you do. Effects you achieve in the reader's mind.
And looking back at all this, the power really comes from how deeply it's rooted in human psychology, doesn't it?
Yes.
It's not just ad tricks. It's understanding desire, belief, resistance, trust.
Completely. How desire is amplified, how belief is constructed piece by piece, how you can change perspective to overcome objections, how authenticity can be communicated, how contrast focuses attention. It's fundamental communication strategy.
Which brings us to the final thought, maybe for you listening right now.
Yeah. How can you take these strategies, really analyzing those deep desires, building belief step by step with gradualization, reframing problems with redefinition, answering unspoken questions with sensitivity, knocking out alternatives with concentration, borrowing trust with camouflage? How can you apply these beyond just marketing?
Right. In your work, in your communications, maybe even in your personal life. Think about your audience, whoever that might be. A client, a team, a stakeholder, maybe even just someone you need to persuade. What's their state of awareness? How can you use structure, language, and that sensitivity to connect not just logically, but on the level of their existing desires and beliefs, to guide them towards a breakthrough, a new understanding, or the outcome you're aiming for?